Hello everyone, my name is Chelsea and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're looking at the Steam games that I played in quarter two. So, like I do a wrap-up for my books that I read every month, we are doing a wrap-up for the Steam games that I've been playing, or video games in general, I should say, mostly Steam, every quarter. So we are now going to be reviewing the second quarter of 2025, which is obviously going to be April, May, and June, which we just finished. And so we're going to get into the stats first. A lot of these stats are things that I took from my book spreadsheets and just made it into game spreadsheets. So the first one that we're going to be looking at today is actually the games started per month. The reason it's games started per month is because I actually have two different like monthly sort of charts that we're going to look at, because some games I can finish in a month. Some games take me longer than that, and so we're looking at it two different ways. So for April, I started 2 games. For May, I started 3, and for June, I started 7. June was a very heavy video game month. It was also a very good reading month in general, not as like the number of days read, like if I was actually counting how many days I read versus not read. It was my lowest reading month that way, but the actual like number of books, number of pages was pretty on par with everything else. I just had a lot more days that I actually was playing video games as well. So yeah, going into how many games I actually played per month. So these are ones that also would continue through different months potentially. I played 3 different games in April, 4 in May, and 8 in June. That means obviously I played something in June that I technically started at a different month. When we go through each game, I will talk about which months I played them. Out of all of the games that I have played so far this year, 15 of them have been completed, and then 3 of them have not. 3 of them are games that I am still in the middle of, still going to be playing, but in general, that's a pretty good number. I don't have too many things outstanding right now. For how I played it, this is again for the entire year so far. 16 of them have been played on the computer, whereas 2 of them have been played on controller. This I do feel like has changed a bit from last year. Last year I was playing a lot more video games on my phone, like with the backbone controller, so like with controller, at night after the kids go to bed. I've noticed that I've been reading a little bit more, or every so often I'll be watching movies or TV shows after the kids go to bed, but I haven't been playing the controller games as much. Some of the games that I've been playing that we will talk about are only on PC, like you can't use the controller to play them. So yeah, I've been very much focused on the PC games more. And then I do have some representation that I have been tracking throughout the games. Again, this is going to be for the whole year so far. And so one of the representations that I track is LGBTQ+. For all of the games that I've played so far, 9 games have it present, 2 games have it as a main character, 2 games are not applicable because those are games that are like more puzzle based, that do not have like characters that could actually have that stuff there, and then 5 have been absent, not in the game whatsoever. I also track disability representation. 9 games have it present, 2 games are not applicable, and 7 have been absent. Moving down, I also track plus size representation. This one has the highest amount of absent, which is 9 games so far. Half of the games I have played do not have plus size representation. 3 it is present, and 2 it is the main character, and then there are also 4 that is not applicable, which is a little bit different than the LGBTQ rep and the disability rep, and I believe we'll get into which games they are as we continue. There's one game that I'm playing that like doesn't have human representation. Like we had birds, and so I don't think there was a good way to tell if it was actually like skinny, medium, plus size birds, but there was LGBTQ+ and disability representation, so like not applicable for some of the categories. Same thing with the person of color representation. 10 of them it was present, 4 it was absent, and 4 it was not applicable because again, if there's no humans there, they were birds, they weren't people of color or otherwise. And then the only other thing that we have to talk about is the star ratings. For this one, we are going to be talking about just the games that I played in the second quarter of the year. So there's a few of them from the beginning, the first quarter, that we already talked about. We're not going to talk about today. So they run the gamut pretty much. The beginning of the year, quarter one, I had a ton of 4- and 5-star games. This time, it's a little bit all over the board. So starting at the bottom, I did have 1 2.5-star. I had 2 3-star games, 2 3.5-star games, 3 4-star games, and 3 5-star games. So, I mean, in general, pretty good, but I have been playing a little bit more mediocre games as well. Okay, and I think that is all the stats that I have been tracking so far this year. So now what we are going to do is actually go through the games that I have been playing for quarter two and talk about those. I'm just basically going to be going in order of timeline because that seems to be easier with the games versus by rating. So we're gonna jump right into April. One game that we actually talked about last time that I was playing in March, but I did finish in April, is Mass Effect 3. I gave this a 5 stars. I absolutely love this game and this series, and I've played all of these games multiple times, and this just so happened to be my most recent playthrough. I think the last time I played these was when I was doing the Legendary Edition, whenever that came out. Like, I did a whole playthrough on the channel, actually, live, of the Legendary Edition of Mass Effect, but that was back when, like, Presley was, like, 1, so it's been, like, 4 or 5 years. I replayed them, absolutely love them. I love the sci-fi setting. I love the fact that we get a trilogy where you do get bigger and bigger stakes each time that you go through. I love the characters. I love that you get to talk to the characters, and there is some romance in there. Like, I really love everything about it. Like, I feel like Mass Effect is one of my top games of all time. I don't think that's ever gonna change, and I just really, really liked this one. Last time that we talked about this, I had played 30 hours of it in March, and then I finished it up at the beginning of April. I ended up playing about 9 hours and 18 minutes in April. So I played a total of 39 hours and 30 minutes of Mass Effect 3 this year. When I was doing Mass Effect 3, I was really doing Mass Effect 3. This is not going to show up on my Steam stats because I actually have it through the EA app, which back in the day when I got this used to be called Origin. So this won't show up in the Steam stats at the end of the year, but because it's been such a big thing that I've been playing, I knew I needed to mention it. And so, yeah. The next game that I played in April is Family Mysteries, Poisonous Promises. This is one of those hidden object games with a mystery. These were on sale in the spring, around that time in April, and I used to play these all the time, like in my late teens, early 20s. Does anybody remember like Big Fish games? They had a ton of these kind of things. And when I say these things were on sale, these games, they were on sale for like $2 something, $3 something. Every single one of these games, because there's a few of them that we're going to talk about here, took me like 3 hours or so. So basically I was getting like $1 per hour of entertainment. Are they the best kind of games? No. Some of them are very much dated by when they were published. Some of them are a little bit weird, but like in general, they're good enough. So Family Mysteries, Poisonous Promises is more of a detective mystery type of game. You find a body that's washed up and you have to solve what happened. And it is very much like conspiracy in the family and people are going to be coming after you because you're trying to figure out what's going on. I did give it a 3.5 because again, they're entertaining. Are they amazing? No. But for like 3 hours of the game, and only spending like $3, I think it's pretty much worth it. Moving into another one that I played in April, another hidden object game, Endless Fables, The Minotaur's Curse. This is one of the older ones, and I think you could really tell based on the style. It felt a little bit shorter than some of the other things that I've played. I gave this one another 3.5 stars. This is where you're trying to like solve the Minotaur's Curse. I know that sounds bad, but you get this like power of being able to like use the mythology of the Minotaur and like the maze and stuff. So you have like the string that you can use to find your way back and stuff. So like ultimately I thought the premise of it could be interesting. It was a little bit shorter, and it was a little bit older, so less story almost. But again, for what it is, a hidden object game for a few dollars, pretty good. Then moving into May, I did play another one, which was Grim Legends: The Forsaken Bride. This one and Endless Fables is like the start of a series. I think there's maybe one more Grim Legends, maybe a couple. And this one had a little bit more of a story. You are going to this like village. It's very like medieval fantasy. There's no technology type of stuff really. Going into this place because your sister, your twin sister, is getting married, and a bear like comes and takes her away, and you have to solve the thing. This one I gave 4 stars. I actually did like the story and the premise a lot more. There was a lot more to do, a lot more like puzzles to solve, more areas. It felt like it was beefed up more than the last couple ones that I had played. And so I can definitely see myself wanting to play more in this series. I don't know if we're gonna follow the same characters or not, but again, hidden object games. I feel like these are a lot like what I would assume like escape room type of things are, where you have to like find objects to solve puzzles and things as well. And so I just really enjoy them. The next one I have here that I played in May is Dragon Age the Veilguard. So I talked about this a little bit because I actually played this last year. It came out on October 31st last year, and I basically did nothing else from around that time to when I finished the game in the middle of December. And then I immediately jumped back into a playthrough of this. And I ended up playing some for January and February. It's a huge game. Like my first playthrough of the game took me like over 70 hours. And so I did put it down, and I picked it back up in May and only played like 1 or 2 days because I definitely want to try more, because it is one big story. There are a couple decisions and things that I know you can make that will change parts of the game, but the main storyline is one storyline. And so while I really enjoy the combat and I love the characters and I want to see more from it, I think I've just been wanting a little bit different. So I did go back to the game for a little bit in May. I'm hoping to finish my second playthrough this year because of the fact that I started it at the very, very end of December last year, and I don't know if I want to make it a whole year thing. But this is one that I have said is finished. I gave it 5 stars, but I am doing my second playthrough this year, and so I do need to play more of that. Then going into another game that I started in May, Mass Effect Andromeda. So basically, right after I finished Mass Effect 3, I played some of the hidden object games that I talked about, and then I was like, you know what? It's been extra long since I played Mass Effect Andromeda. I don't think I've ever finished a second playthrough of that, because it's Mass Effect, but it's really, really big. I think Mass Effect Andromeda, I started that game with 105 hours already on it. And that was just from the last time I played it with, I think a time that I tried to like create a new character and then like never really continued. So this is a huge game. Like Mass Effect, each game in the trilogy is like 30 hours or less basically. Mass Effect Andromeda is at least double that. It's around the same size as Dragon Age Veilguard, where it's like 70 hours for a playthrough pretty much, at least. So I played over 20 hours of this game in May, and it's just a huge game. I've been loving it still. I don't think I love it quite as much as the original trilogy, and it's more just because I remember going into this game and wanting a little bit more from it, because when you go into like the first Mass Effect, out of the whole trilogy, that one is the weakest because it's the first game. It sets up a lot of stuff, it has good characters and things, but it's better when you play it all together. And I feel like that's the same way with Mass Effect Andromeda. I wanted more because I wanted to know more about the characters. Did I like the characters? Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to love about this game. I really like the combat system and everything as well, but I feel like we needed more. And it's such a huge game that I played for, like I said, over 20 hours in May, and then I decided to put it down for a little bit near the end of May because I knew there was going to be other things I wanted to play. So I played for over 20 hours. Did I finish it? No. I will finish it. I have finished it previously in the past. It's a good game. It's just, it's a long game, and I knew there was other things I needed to do, so yeah. The next game I played in May still, this actually took me from May to June, but I started it in May, was Keyframes Spring. So this is technically a demo. I've played quite a few demos. I'll leave them linked down below in case you guys haven't seen them. But this was around the time of the Otomi games, before we got into like the new Next Fest sort of stuff. It wasn't technically on either of the like demo fests, but I found it because it is a visual novel. I have played over 9 hours of this demo. I have played the whole thing. The thing is, it says it's a demo, but it takes you through the entire like spring semester of college that you're in. You're like a sophomore in college, your second year of college, and you have a couple best friends, and then you meet these other boys at this like party thing that you're at. There's a couple different like meet cute type situations, and it's going to be an Otomi game, dating sim, visual novel type of thing. There's not really dating in this first part. This is more of like a prequel situation, but I loved it so much. You can be any pronouns and any identity that you want. You can choose if you want to be they, them, she, her, he, him. I think there's even a way that you can customize if you want like she, they, that type of thing. One of your best friends is non-binary, and the characters are so well done, so well rounded. I also love the fact that they had this sort of like personality system where at the very beginning of the demo, you actually have to take a personality quiz, and then you're dubbed either like autumn, spring, summer, winter, one of those, and they help influence the way your character interacts with everybody else in the moments that are like pre-programmed. So like, you know, you don't always get to choose every single thing that you get to say in these kind of games. Some dialogue will just like continue as dialogue, and it would answer certain things based on what season you were. And then sometimes you would get to the part where you get to answer certain things, and based on, again, what type of season you are, you had some options that were highlighted versus others. So like the way that you got to say them were different. I really liked this one. I can't wait to see what the actual game's going to be, but I think the actual game starts with summer, because this was spring. I don't know, but I played through every single route possible, and I loved it so much. So this one's a standout for me. I definitely need to see more. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Then moving into actually June, where I played a lot of different things. The first one that I have here is Mizi No. This was free. So I have been tracking the games that I have purchased, and then if I've played them, and there's been a couple times where they've had like, here's a free game, and I'm like, okay, I'll pick it up, and then I just haven't played it. So I tried to do a couple of those this month in June, and so one of them was Mizi No. This is about a cat who likes to knock vases off the counter, and then you have to put them together. And it's like a puzzle type of thing. It's just like puzzles, and each one is subsequently harder and harder. Like, it would take me a while to actually work it out. And I really like this one. I gave it a 4 stars. It is free. They have DLC that you can pay for to get more things to put back together, which completely makes sense. It almost feels like a demo type of game, because it was actually like each vase got harder and harder, but the whole amount of the game is quite short because it's free. And then if you want to pay for more, you can. I have not done that yet. I probably will do that in the future because I really did like this one. I thought it was very cute. Pretty much just a puzzle. This is one of those ones that has like no representation whatsoever because the only thing on screen is a cat. Then the next one that was also free that I played in June was Lovebirb. So this is a dating sim type of situation with birds. Yes, it was free. I gave it 2.5 stars. This is my lowest rated game that I have played in a while. And it's because it's weird. Like, yes, you're dating as a bird, but the other options for you are like twin birds. There's like a guy and a girl, and they're like together and they love death. Or it's this like really old bird who has like military service and potentially PTSD or something. And then there's a bird that is obviously some sort of like kleptomaniac or murderer or something. Like, it's all very weird and uncomfortable. And that's okay because you can also potentially go out with your best friend, which I like. The best friend also is asexual, and I loved the conversation they had with that. They bring that up, and it's very like wholesome and good. The thing is, this is also a dating sim type of situation with like, what is it? the rhythm games, where you're a bird and the way that you answer questions is by doing a dance. And you have to do the dance by hitting the arrow keys a certain way because it's a rhythm game. The thing is, the timing has to be off, 100%. I screwed up so many times. You cannot listen to the beat and do it. You cannot watch the like circle thing that shows you when to hit the button and do it. It's just like, it's impossible to like actually get the timing right consistently. Like I said, messed up so many freaking times that even though the birds are weird and off and random, I was gonna give it the benefit of the doubt and try and continue on these dates. But the thing is, if you miss one, maybe even two at the most prompts, you're done, you failed. And like the thing is, and like you have two different options of what to talk about. And so one is obviously the preferred talking about things. And the other one is like a neutral. But if you miss the timing, you get a negative. Like it's super weird. Like the dialogue is funny. Like they put in very, very weird random stuff. And it's like when that stuff happens, I'm like, oh my gosh, our character is so awkward, so weird and random. I liked the dialogue that way. However, the timing was so bad that like if you get one like miss, you could be completely like done if you also then didn't pick the best answer for the rest of the things. Or if you picked the bad answer, like it was just like the amount of, I don't even know if I'm explaining this right. The amount of wiggle room you had to get answers right or wrong is almost non-existent. And so because of that, I was struggling to get through any dates like at all possible because the timing was just so off. So this is one of those ones where I think it had potential. It is weird, it is random, and it's not necessarily like that wasn't the detriment necessarily. I wish I would have been able to play more to really get through the end of everything to see what happened. But because I could not get the timing right, like consistently ever, I couldn't finish the game. So it's not bad. Like I don't want to like hate on it, but it needs a workaround for the actual mechanics in order for it to work. The next game that I played in June was Townframe. This was a very, very short game. I gave it 3 stars. It's about a puzzle with the town. So it's like you get a scene and you're gonna have buildings or trees, and then the buildings can be either short or medium or tall, and based on what a character will say, you have to interpret what they say and make a picture. It makes sense to me. The thing is, some of the puzzles are hard near the like middle to end only because they're very, very vague, because all you really get are trees or buildings. And so they'll be talking about something where it's like, oh, we were in the tallest house on the hill. And so you make that house on the hill the tallest one, and it's good. That's like the easy puzzles. But then later on, it'll talk about, oh, we had this thing by this forest or whatever it is. But then like, it could be on the left or the right. You had to like actually use hints to figure it out. Okay, moving into another game for June, I have Squeakross. This is a pie cross game where you play as a mouse, and all of the puzzles are to build furniture and things for his house. So you can customize your mouse. Some of the things will actually be clothing items as well, so you can actually put clothing and stuff on your mouse. And then you're building all the stuff for the house. There are so many puzzles. I played the demo of this and I got through like almost 60 puzzles, and then the game came out. I decided not to transfer my demo progress over just because I wanted to do all the things all over again. But so like you can build a chair and then you get a chair to put in the house. And then eventually when you do a certain number of pages on the book, it'll open up a like customize section where you then do another puzzle to make a chair, but it's harder. And then you can actually put in multiple chairs in your house and multiple different colors if you want. So it opens up all this extra stuff. So you actually get like twice the amount of puzzles as you think you're going to get. And it's all to customize your mouse's house. I have absolutely loved this game. I love pie cross and stuff, but so this is another one where technically you can have disability representation, because when you customize your mouse, you can decide if they're missing an arm or a leg or an eye or an ear. And it does have LGBTQ representation in the fact that as you play this game, you actually get stickers for like every 5 puzzles that you do. And there are a ton of stickers with like food and mice and rats and things, but there are a bunch that are pride flags. And some of the first ones you get are pride flags. And I just absolutely love that idea. So even though it's not like a character with LGBTQ+, they are 100% there for you that way with all the stickers and customization options that you have. I've absolutely loved this one. I don't have it rated on here because technically I'm not finished, but it's gonna be a 5 out of 5, like 100%. Then the next one I played is Monster Prom. I have played this before. Before I started doing my monthly wrap-ups or, you know, yearly wrap-ups, whatever, I have played Monster Prom. I actually own number 2 and number 3, and I know number 4 came out recently. I love the concept of this. My biggest thing is that you can't save in the middle of the game. So if you're gonna play this, you have to be able to sit down and play a whole thing through. The good thing is they do have like a short mode, which is like 30 minutes-ish, and a long mode, which is 60 minutes-ish. I do feel like even when it says it takes about 60 minutes, it doesn't necessarily take me that long because I guess you get to read it yourself. So I read probably quicker than some other people. And you're basically just trying to get people to go with you to prom. It's hard. Some of it I feel like I'm doing a great job, and then other times I feel like I'm doing a horrible job. But it's also one of those ones that's very weird and tongue-in-cheek and funny, very LGBTQ friendly. I have really enjoyed it. I gave it a 4 stars. I'm very curious to see how later games in the series work, because the reason it's a 4 stars is like it's fun. I love its tongue-in-cheek nature, but if you want to get a lot of achievements, which I'm basically done with Monster Prom for now, and I've definitely not gotten all the achievements, but if you want to do all the achievements, it feels very grindy. You have to go back and play over and over and over to get other scenarios and other options and potentially take other people to prom. Like, I love the idea of it, but it's not something that I could play over and over and over, like all in one time, but it is fun. Then we have another game. Lots of games in June. This one that I played is another hidden object game. I played Demon Hunter Chronicles from Beyond. This one I gave 3 stars. It's my lowest hidden object game, and it's because it's a little bit bland. This one is about your like adoptive father has been murdered and police think it's this guy, and you're like, I don't know about that, let me go see. And the whole game is basically trying to get to the house. And then once you get to the house, you talk to this guy and he says, oh, thank you, you're here to help me. Let's go up to the attic. And then you take forever to find your way up to the attic. So like, there's not like a bunch of plot points. It's really like one main plot point, and it's a lot of tedious trying to figure out how to open things to get to the attic. Like, it took a while to do any of that. And then I was just like, oh, the story's over. I do think this is another one that has a sequel potentially. I might see, because again, for the price that it is, I got these on sale for like $2 something, $3 something. It still took me 2 to 3 hours to play. It's not a bad thing if you get it on sale. There is no way I would probably pay for any of these at like the normal $20 price point. You know what I mean? But for the ones that I have played so far, Demon Hunter is on the lower end because it really doesn't have a good plot. It's point A to point B, and you have to do 20 different things in the middle to get there because doors are locked and stuff. Like, it could have been better. And then finally, the last game we have to talk about today is Lost Records Bloom & Rage Tape 2. So I played Tape 1 back when this first came out in February. I played it within 3 days. That was all I was wanting to do. These are the games that I play on controller, and that was like all I was doing at night after the kids went to bed was Bloom & Rage Tape 1. I gave that like a 4.5 stars because it was really good. There were some slower moments that I wished picked up a little bit, but in general, I love the characters. I love the friendships. It had this like sort of twisty natured near the end, especially of that first tape, that I was like, oh my gosh, really? Let's go, let's continue. Well, tape 2 took a couple months to come out. So it didn't come out in March. I think it came out in the end of April. And then I was doing other things. I was reading other things. I didn't pick it back up until near the end of June because it is very LGBTQ coded. The only characters really that are there are girls. And so you play as Swan. And then the only people that she can have a crush on are girls. The only people these girls can have a crush on are other girls. Like, it's very dependent on your choices, which I do love. This is the same people that created the original Life is Strange game. And then also Tell Me Why, which I played last year. Absolutely loved. Like, I love them so, so much. The creators are amazing. I'm at a point where I've played a couple more days and I'm really enjoying it. However, I think after the ending of tape 1, it felt a little bit weird to go back into tape 2 after it had been so long. And yes, I know some of it was because of me. Some of it was because I waited a little bit too long to get back into the game. I waited until June, and that was just because life happened. And then I was like, you know what? It's very LGBTQ coded. June is Pride Month. I need to play this game. I have not finished it. I'm still very much wanting to see where it's going to go, but I have not finished it yet. That's where we're at. I really, really love the art style and the direction stuff of this. I'm hoping it's going to be at least the same rating as a 4.5. We'll have to see, because I have no idea where we're going to be going with that yet. But I have been loving it. I do want to continue. And I think that is about everything. I have mentioned before that if people want, I can do like a games that I have hauled. And I did actually get quite a few games in June because they were doing their summer sale. So let me know if you guys would like me to do like a sort of haul of games that I've gotten recently, or if you want me to wait and just do one at the end of the year. I'd be okay with either, but I have quite a few things now in June. I've had like one thing in January, a couple things in February, a couple things in March, a couple things in April, a couple things in May, a buttload in June. So yeah, I think that is going to be it from me today. Like I said, I do like including these, even though I really just do every quarter versus like every month, like the book stuff. But this is something that I absolutely love, pretty much just as much as I love books. And so if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up to let me know. Subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more videos. I do have videos coming out Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, so I will see you then. Bye!